them. I love your mood boards.
Thank you. I love making them. They're my favorite things.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to be doing this.
Yeah.
I thought I would put together a mood board on the call.
Yeah, for sure.
Through.
Yeah.
You guys get to see my like weird experimenting face. So, so I guess I will start by introducing myself.
Yeah.
I'm Taylor, and I am a Gothic horror writer. I am represented by Larissa Mello-Piankowski of Jill Grinberg, and we are out on submission with my first book and in revision with my second.
Yay!
And soon to be third. So
yeah,
getting things rolling. I make a mood board for every project. I make one at the beginning when I kind of decide my topic, and I put together like an initial pitch, and then I do them occasionally throughout the process to kind of help me understand how the plot is moving, whether what I'm seeing in my head actually can match reality. And that's kind of it. I use them also, obviously, to promote my work. It's helpful. And I actually reconnected with Larissa because of a mood board I tweeted. So they're super helpful when you're a writer, not only to help yourself, but to help others connect with your work.
Yeah, absolutely. So quick question, because you make them at the beginning and you make them kind of throughout, and I'm guessing at the end as well, how different are they usually from when it starts to when it finishes?
Pretty different usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pantser. I know a lot of agented authors or plotters. I might be the rare person out. And because of that, my aesthetic changes as I go. This one that I'm going to be doing today actually didn't change at all. I don't know how that happened, but it's the first time. But I also do it for certain characters or certain moments in the book that I'm interested in, or I'll take a quote and kind of center a mood board around it. I do that a little more rarely, but definitely for characters. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I love mood boards. I love looking at them and I love making them, and it's an enjoyable process. And for exactly the reasons that you stated, I'm so far have made them kind of like an overall theme to the story itself, but I love that you focus in on characters or certain moments in the story. That's great.
So actually, today I'm going to make a mood board for my third book, which is going to be in revisions, hopefully at the end of the month, of next month. I guess it's the end of the month.
Yeah, already.
And we are going to be focusing on the main character. Her name is Abby. I thought she deserved her own. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do today. I've already set up the Canva page and I have my Pinterest pulled up so you guys can see my chaotic process.
Perfect.
Really, really excited. Okay, so you can kind of see right now that is my old mood board for Visage. And I've actually changed my format dramatically. So I started writing this book a while ago when I first started making mood boards. And now I've transitioned to even squares so that you have like a real central subject. But this is the mood of the book overall. It's a very haunted story. It's about this girl who returns to her hometown. And she finds her house in total disrepair. Her mother is ill and very old and bedbound. And she feels like something in the house is not quite right. So that's what I hope to convey in this mood board. The something is not quite right thing is centered on this painting of this girl, this young girl. She's in her early teens. And in this painting, she sees movement, she sees changes in what the girl's holding, the girl leaves the painting, and comes back to the painting, and the painting almost gaslights Abby into thinking that she's out of her mind. So it's a very traditional kind of Gothic horror in that sense, very like We Have Always Lived in the Castle, The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell, that kind of thing. So Abby deserves her own mood board. So I'm going to show you my Pinterest for the Visage. Okay, so this is the Pinterest.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see that there are pictures of like bad kids, teenagers, decay, ghosts, the whole nine, rural communities. I chose this image. It's from my Pinterest. I think it's the perfect mood. This is how Abby feels. So I'm going to anchor my whole mood board around this image. So I'm going to go back to my Pinterest, and I'm thinking like, oh, let's see. Her old flame, Connor, who is Rosemary's brother, very troubled kid. I want to include him in this. I think it'll be helpful. So I'm going to take this image as well and stick it in my mood board. And everything is negotiable. So like these things don't have to stay. The process takes some time when I start putting things in. But eventually when we start like tweaking images, it gets faster, I promise. So also, I really, really liked this image. I guess I should have given a trigger warning at the beginning, which is there's going to be some blood in this. That's how horror is. Yeah. So as I said, Abby and her sister Rosemary started a fighting ring. So I want to include that. It's very vital to the story and the level of guilt she has for leaving her home kind of in disrepair, both mentally and physically. So I also want to include some images of like decrepit old house stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do some of this. And then I'm going to just fill out the mood board really quickly so that it's done and I can show you how I tweak things. Let's see. Feel free to ask questions too. I'm pretty fast.
Loving all these images. I also write Gothic for those of you who don't know, and I love seeing all of this stuff. I think we have very similar tastes in our aesthetics.
Yeah, I think we really do, which is awesome. House, don't love the sizing of that, but we're gonna go with it for the time being. Oh, look, it has sound. We don't like that. This is the problem with Pinterest. Ooh, we love a rural town, because that's where it's at. And you can already see, by the way, I hope, how like it feels common already. This is why Pinterest is so great, because it allows you to start pairing images and it gives you suggestions of images, and we love that stuff. We love common themes in this kind of thing. So I actually think I'm going to have too many people and we're going to have to go back and change it up. But
that's the fun of making them though.
Yeah, it totally is. This is like the most fun I have ever.
Yeah. When it comes to adding images that are copyright protected, so how, like, we don't know where these images are coming from unless we follow all the links, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I try to give credit to artists if I see the actual artist. That is an issue with Pinterest in general. If you use, for example, you can use Canva instead, and you can get their free images that are unlicensed. I try and give artists as much credit as I can. If I can't find any artist credit, I try to explain that to people when they ask. But I also am not using it for profit. So I'm trying to approach it from like a creative standpoint. It's a challenge with the internet. I try and be as transparent as possible. And if any of these artists ever approach me and was like, hey, can you pay me $10?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's just hard. Pinterest isn't, as you can see, like, this isn't exactly like the most copyright friendly story. But it kind of is what it is, unfortunately. Just like, use your best judgment. If you see something and it feels like you shouldn't be stealing it, don't trust your gut.
But that's the important part too, is that you're not using it for profit. So keep that in mind.
Definitely keep an eye on your follower count. If it's starting to get really high, where it might look like you might turn a profit, let's say if you're a self-published author and you're using this to like market your books, then contact as many artists as you can so that you can give them royalties. That's just like the person thing to do, like just so I filled out the whole mood board, and I am already liking it. I think that I can probably lose this guy and change it out. That's the thing. You're going to eventually find that like one of your images doesn't fit, and that's cool. Just like being willing to change it. Already that looks so much better to me. There's more balance, and there's already this kind of nice symmetry where all of the kind of person pictures are here in a diagonal, and it's nicely broken up where like that image of the trees and that image of that rural road, they both feel scene setting, whereas this and this and this are kind of houses. There's a whole underlying tone of like, as I was saying, like decay in winter. So I like to use as much environmental stuff as I can. So having like decaying leaves is fantastic. Let's see. I'm not totally happy with the aspect ratio of that house. So I'm going to see if there's a better one. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes you just have to like roll with the punches a little bit. Kind of like this guy. Kind of think that could be cool. Let's see how we like it. Nope, don't like that. Immediately incorrect.
I love how easy it is to play with images in here in Canva. I love Canva.
I love Canva. I kind of like that. I'm convinced of this. For sure. All right. So my mood boards are often in the blue tone range. I prefer that. I think it's spookier. So I'm going to go through and change all of the images to have a similar kind of faded bluish purple quality as that middle image. Let's see. So this is probably the picture of the guy is probably going to be the hardest. So we're going to edit the image. You can use filters if you want, but honestly, I think it's much easier to toggle it yourself. So I'm going to immediately drop the warmth. Not too much because I don't want him to turn blue, just enough. And then I'm going to drop the saturation pretty significantly. And that's already starting to feel more like the middle image. I'm going to increase the fade so the photograph feels a little older. And then I'm going to bump up the contrast a tiny bit, maybe drop the brightness a little bit. And it's just like a balancing act. Like that already looks better to me. Then these two, the books and the peeling wallpaper, which I might actually switch. I might actually detach this image, see if that works.
I like that.
I like that too. All right.
I think those the top and bottom corners there, the colors complement each other. With the wallpaper and the books. I think that's probably the best choice. The other thing is I have to decide if I want the road in. I like that better because it mirrors nicely the symmetry of the road on the other side. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do this wallpaper next. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to change the tint of this. It's addictive though. Once you start doing it,
Oh, I
the
know.
hours just fly by.
I know. And it's like
so
so much
fun.
fun. It's so cool to see the change happen.
Mhm.
And then like when it's done, you feel it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that already looks a lot better. It's starting to look super cohesive. This, I think I just need to drop the saturation.
We kind of get to see where your head is at as you're doing all of these steps, right? Oh, definitely.
I'm actually also thinking, oh, nope, get out of here. See what I mean? I'm actually thinking, I don't know, I'm struggling with this image. I don't think I like it after all. I like it, but maybe not for this. And that's the other thing, a lot like with writing, being precious about your images is not good. So like if something doesn't work, even if you like the image, if it's not serving the whole thing, it's not worth it to keep it. It'll just make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, it can throw off the entire collage.
Yeah, it really can. And I always say, you can always undo it. So it's like no harm, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's always just worth trying something to see if it would be better served some way else.
Yeah.
So I can see also that this misty image, I love it. But I can see that it's too low contrast. So I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. And I'm also going to reduce the warmth a tad and probably darken the shadows. This shadow toggle is my favorite tool. If you were to just increase the contrast, it would make the clouds super white, and that's not great. Because what we're going for is like a misty thing.
Yeah.
So just decreasing the shadow tone is very helpful. It's basically just white balance, but it's on two planes, highlights and shadows. Now this empty square is making me bananas. So I'm gonna go back to my Pinterest well and see what happens. What do we think we need there? I really want to include something spooky and super decay heavy, but I also don't want to use something that'll be contradictory to the other images. What about this? How do we feel about this? This is a spooky image.
It is spooky.
And it's even worse when it's smaller. It's like claustrophobic. Oh, I love that actually.
Yeah.
I like how we're getting an interplay of like bright reds in this and also like this kind of damp blue.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because as you start to edit these things and start to color correct them, you see that like naturally that happens if you're selecting images the right way. It almost kind of just naturally slots together. Oh, now it's looking really cool suddenly. I actually think I'm gonna fix the crop on this guy because I like the tree thing on both sides. This is starting to look a little warm by contrast. So let's see if we can remove that. Aha. All right, it's starting to take shape, I think. I think, there we go. Yes, filling the whole frame is super important too. I've learned that black space in this stuff only serves so much of a purpose. Like it's a cool idea, but then it starts to make it look unbalanced. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's coming together. Let's see. So we've done nothing to this middle image. And I try and leave that to the end because I always want to see how things are fitting together before I mess with it.
Yeah.
Here we go. And I think naturally it just kind of like comes together. So this is the point at which I kind of take a step back and I think like, is this working? Is there anything I would do differently? And so I'm actually going to pose the question to you since you're the viewer, and I want to know what you think. Does anything bother you? Say whatever you think.
The thing, like when I look at the image as a whole, the thing that pops out to me is the hallway image in the corner. And I think it's because there's more color in that. Go ahead.
No, do you think that it's because it's so geometric compared to the rest of it?
That it could be. I like the idea of it though. So you know what I mean? I like the idea of it. I like the feel of it. I think I don't know if we can play with the settings a little bit more to kind of like, I know
darker.
Yeah.
What do we feel?
Like you want to still be able to see down the hallway, but you know what I mean? There's quite a contrast between the walls and then the darkness of the hallway.
Is that starting to feel a little bit better now that it's?
Yeah, it's kind of coming into the same kind of coloring as, yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna reduce the saturation a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it also might be worth going back to Pinterest and seeing if there are other better images. That could be it.
That's creepy.
That's creepy. We like a creep factor. The other thing is, like in a query letter, it doesn't always have to be exact. It just has to provide the right tone.
Yeah.
So, instantly better. Instantly much better. Okay. I love Canva because it, as you can see, it's so easy. This guy looks too purple to me now. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Did it also get rid of everything I did? Yes, of course. Okay.
What a difference it makes when you play with the tone and, you know, the highlights and the contrast and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing how that works, huh? Now I am wondering about the wallpaper, because I really would like to include wallpaper in this. Because part of the inciting incident is when Abby returns home and sees how absolutely demolished her childhood bedroom is. And it's like a very hard experience for her, as I think it would be for a lot of people. So I'm just gonna go and see
that
if there's
one right there.
That one? Okay, let's try it. Let us try it. I like that too. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. I like the texture of it next to the trees. Let's see. Instantly cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool beans, man. I also like how these like bright reds have come out of it. It jives nicely with this. And I'm actually going to see. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. Yeah. All right. Now we're going to take a step back again and see how we feel. I really like this.
Yeah, I like it too.
I think this might still be a little too warm. Okay. What do we think?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I do too.
Lots of creep in there. There's lots of, the tone is all matchy. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we can call this one. It feels really complete and it evokes the story really nicely, I think. And I think if you just looked at it, you'd already know kind of this has to do with somebody's conflicted past and childhood, maybe. So, and that's the point. We did it.
Awesome.
We did it.
Perfect. So we want this to be as inclusive as possible. So we have been adding alt text to images and we're suggesting that we do that. I don't have a whole lot of experience with knowing what works and what doesn't. So would you explain every single one of those 9 photos, or would you give an overall? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I might start with the center image and then
Yeah.
do the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because if the center image is the point of your mood board, then it makes sense to start there. And then if you don't want to do every single image, I would describe the tone of the mood board. This is a cool toned mood board depicting at its center the main character who is turned away from the camera and surrounded by various whatever items.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would do it. Or I would describe every single image.
Yeah.
Just to be as inclusive as humanly possible.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've done so far. And I wondered if that's, what's typically done. I think the more detailed description you can put in there, the better, right?
Yeah. And sometimes I'll do mood boards, which aren't mood boards, they're quotes. And then you can just describe the background image and quote the quote.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that I have most experience doing, but I think either is fine.
Yeah.
Yay,
Awesome.
Moodpitch. This is so exciting. I'm so excited. People like mood boards. People like to see the tone of a book. So
yeah, well, we've got a bunch that have responded saying that, yeah, oh my gosh, we're so excited. We can't wait to see this. We love mood boards, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, but really exciting. So
have you put together a website?
Oh yeah, website's already there. Gosh. Everything's there. So, and it's worldwide. It's the same, 3 pitches per manuscript and between 8 and 8 Eastern, and the same kind of guidelines. We've tried to also learn from what we've seen in others, what works and what doesn't. And yeah, and we wanted to be really mindful of those who want to participate but are visually impaired. So that's why we want to make sure that it's out there, that you should be adding alt text and that kind of thing. So
totally.
Thank you so much for doing this. This has been great. Yeah.
Yay. No, it's been awesome.